So they'll be calling you a radical. Is it 11? 3:11? It's way after midnight. So this is a real important video. So the whale watchers in the desert of Utah. Let's walk over here and see if we can get the science building in the wind blows. Let's count it down. How many whales are dead? They agree with me here in La Jolla. In La Jolla. This is real important. The science building. My 8th grade history teacher. Yeah, that's who the science building. It's him. That's him. Blackball me. University of GE. The La Jolla training facility. Dead tide pool jumping. Bob Beeman Blanch. This is real important. Fucking Starbucks in our fucking science building. Are you fucking kidding me? Wait till I walk in there. Wait till you see what's in here. These fuckers. So this is real important. So La Jolla. Now I know this guy personally. As you know, I've protested there in La Jolla. Scripps on Balco so many times. I've talked to him personally. I handed him a tuna fish sandwich actually if he would eat it. So he's finally agreed with me. As I stood in January this year right at that university, right there on that beach, and said, "What are you doing?" And I says, "I'm waiting, I'm watching for dead gray whales to wash up." And they're like, "What are you talking about?" And I'm like, "That's the next shoe to drop." So he's finally agreed with me with something. Finally come out. So he's using them 167. As you know, my number's around 300. He says, let's walk in and get out of the wind. He says that's probably, and they won't, I mean, they can't even bring themselves to use the fucking word starvation, malnutrition, lack of food, mystified, baffled, stumped, puzzled for, you know, urgency. Urgency for what? 3,000 something days? So he says this is probably 10% of what's really died. So according to his number, that means there's 1,600. Between 16 and 17. According to my number, well over 3,000. I've said that the whole time. You're getting maybe 10% are washing up. Maybe. My guess is probably more like 5% are washing up. So, my 8th grade history teacher. He was a gem, boy. Ha! A synthetic gem. I'm an organic gem. Gotta show you this. Fucking Starbucks. These fake scientists make me want to throw up. Blackball me. Ian Fawn, Doyle. So we're going to be doing some work in here, me and another professor. It looks like ASAP. This is new, by the way. Earth and Environmental Studies Research and Teaching Lab. Earth and Science Cover-Up Lab. Teach you how to lie. Teach you how to lie. Teach you how to lie. This is more people work for the nuclear industry than at the labs out of this school of science than anywhere in the United States. I know him personally. In fact, there's a lot of people that say that I'm probably related to him, but I don't know about that. So, oh, there's too many of them. So he's finally agreeing with me. Now you know I stood right there. So at Scripps, it used to say downwind or way. Remember my protest there? Lori and I's? They took the sign down. Now you think about that. At Scripps, which by the way is Browning Scripps. Let's walk, should we walk over to the Val Browning freaking Center? Who didn't show up when they named it after him? By the way, Mrs. Stewart, the Stewart Library, that's the D family, who's done all this great philanthropy. What do you think, tomato soup can? That's where they made all their money. And by the way, she's the greatest philanthropist this town's ever seen. She's a gem. The hospital, that's all her dime. She's, you know, we love her. And so, American canned, as I call it. So, I stood right there in La Jolla. That's where I stay. When I'm in there all the time, I stay in La Jolla. You should see this little dumpy ass place I stay. I mean, that's where I'm at. That's my place. I've been there my whole life. Right there where Leo Lizard died. Right there where all the freaking nuclear madmen are. La Jolla. Fucking, I mean, talk about a fucking freaky place. I mean, up on the hill, you know, there's 2 reactors there. You know that Trump's importing more nuclear waste. You're trying to get rid of it, San Onofre. I'm trying to get rid of it, not on the fucking beach. They're bringing in more. Fucking here at the infamous Stewart Library. So he's finally agreed with me. I stood right there at La Jolla. That's where I'm standing, right where he's at. I talk to him all the time. He's finally agreed with me. He's finally come out. I mean, in pseudo de facto language, that's what they use. Oh, you know, they're not about to use the, you know, as I say, it's Fukushima. One day you'll come around to my thesis. When are you going to come around to my thesis? That this is new. That's why scientists are mystified, baffled, puzzled, stumped, because it's the decadent usury and they're in the golden handcuffs. They're not about to break ranks because they have cushy-ass fucking lives. It isn't like the old days of professors. The radical freaking professor worked his ass off. Who gave a shit? Them guys are gone, long gone. Those guys are long gone. Long gone. They did to me what they do to them. You know, look, you want to pay the price I paid? Let's see, I got leukemia on 11/11/11, bone marrow transplant, blackballed me, wiped me out, fucking Feldoric valve, fucking almost killed me. You know, I mean, I'm right there where he's standing, doing his interview. He says, well, these ones that are washed up, oh, malnutrition, lack of food. They can't use the starvation word. How are they going to use the Fukushima word? Because what's coming off of Fukushima has never happened before. Not my words, jumping to Lake Barrett's words on 60 Minutes. It took 60 minutes, freaking 2,950 days to tell you what Kevin Blanch told you in an hour. Probably the greatest scientist of our time. Well, I think it's unarguable. Kevin Blanch. These guys make so much money, you don't even know what the comfortability they make. I make none. Thank you to everybody who supports historic work. This well collapse is just, I stood right there on the beach. What are you doing? In January. I says, I'm waiting for freaking looking for dead whales. Too early. I said, no, it ain't too early. They're in Monterey being eaten. That's my work. You wouldn't even know the gray whales were giving birth in Monterey Bay and starting in 2015 if it wasn't for me and the old marine biologists, the old volunteers. You ought to hear them. My son and daughter are both marine biology chairs. I believe at Stanford and at UCLA. Kevin, they don't care. They waited for me when I got there at Pacific Grove. You know my work I did this winter at Pacific Grove? Monterey, I work all thing, you know, dead tide pool jumping, Bob Beam and Blanch. I mean, I base in La Jolla, right there, North PB. You know, one side of the street's La Jolla, the other side's North. That's my place. That's my spot. I've been there the whole time, my whole life. You know, and here, you know, the nuclear freaking monsters. I says the gray whales are going to start washing up in a big way. This will be the next starvation event. This, you know, I'm the guy that postulated. I'm the first guy that started telling you you can physically see the plume. I'm the first guy on the dead tide pools. You didn't believe me, full of cancer. I walked the whole coast. Because everybody's in their decadence, think they're going to be the next Cinderella, they're going to be the next CEO, the next academia dean. The comfortability, the zenith of the... It's the ecology, stupid. You broke it. You broke the chain. You know, one of these days, I used to stand right there. I've talked to this guy multiple times. Used to laugh at me. They're not laughing now. Oh, they're not laughing now. But that's the way it works, Kevin Semmelweis. I mean, this is a lonely... I've been frustrated. I can't sleep the last few nights. You know, I'm really, really frustrated. I tell you what, I'm almost to the point where I've been shaking a little bit. I mean, I'm disgusted with this decadence of usury and the apathy. I mean, I cannot find a faction. There's nobody across this land. There's no group, there's nothing to attach to fight this. I mean, it's just so pure loneliness, and I've been dead on right the whole time. I mean, there's a new leukemia foundation being a network for leukemia that contacted me yesterday. I mean, people call me, do interviews with me, blah, 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 but it's all memeism. It's the ecology, stupid. So he says 10% is probably what, and he's using the number 167. My number's well over 300. My number's much more accurate. It's like you didn't believe me, the dead tide pools. So I walked the whole coast of California, all of it. Dying of leukemia, multiple, best tide pools in, I mean, my videos are so historic. I mean, the tide pool evidence is incredible. You know, how long is it going to take till they use the word Fukushima? So the G20 protest, they're protesting over right now. You're going to see this on the news? They're protesting right now, and I know for a fact. You don't see any of it coming up. They got the water. There are fucking hundreds of thousands of people protesting in Osaka right now. From all over, you know, everywhere. You know, not hearing the user. They won't let me in. So, they're chanting, we know about Fukushima. And they're going to grandstand you and show, oh, here's a video protesting on the Hong Kong defection from freaking China. You know, it's just all, you know, geopolitical fucking globalism bullshit. You know, left team, right team, same fucking team. Exploitation, the decadence of usury. So right there in La Jolla, that's where I stood right there. Right, that's where I was standing in January, and I have multiple witnesses. Ask Jimmy Stewart. You know, he was standing right. He says, "Oh my God, it's Kevin Blanch. I watch all your videos." He lives in La Jolla. You know, lots of people do. He's like, I says, "What are you doing?" I says, "Next shooter." I says, "Let's walk over to the Mad Deep Beat and get something to eat." Okay. I says, "Next shooter drop is going to be starving to death whales." Ask Lisa. She was standing right there. Ask Peter. He was standing right there. Ask Yoko. She was standing right there. Ask Rachel. All of them right there. Right there. That's where I'm standing in La Jolla. That's where I set up my shop and I do my work. That's where I base out of. La Jolla, and from PG to PB. From Pacific Grove. I mean, I work up and down that coast so hard, the marine biologist in the desert of Utah. Gray whales. My number is accurate as hell. My number is north of 300 because my post-ignorance army is that good and we get them out. He says, you can figure they're starving to death. Hold clues. Mystified, puzzled, baffled, stumped, perplexed, fucking urgent. After these men, that's not science. That's hyperbole, and that's counterproductive, and they're getting a dime. Now, what I've done, first you hypothesize knowledge. They're going to dump it into the Pacific Ocean. They're going to cover it up. They're going to break the chain. It's going to be new. It's going to cause fires. It's going to kill fucking trees. It's going to kill tadpoles. It's going to break the ecology chain. You're going to have a starvation event. And this woman, I'll never forget it. I'm right there in La Jolla. You know, there's a giant, well, washed up dead. A blue. She says, "Oh, you're crazy, Kevin Blanch. I don't even know who this person is. This happens to me all the way." Right there, Tourmaline World comes up to me. She says, "Oh, God, Kevin, yeah." I'm like, no. I never said radiation killed them. Don't you get that? It killed their food. It broke the chain. They're plankton feeders. Now the orcas are in Monterey Bay eating starving to death grays. Yay, out of the southern pod. Yay. Unleash the fucking lions. What a sickening decadence of fucking group. And I never did find a faction to go along with. My little teeny post-ignorance army, you know, talk about on our own. Thank you. You know who you are. You know, what a fight we've had. I stood right there. This will be them. You know, what's the next shoe to drop? It's going to be humans. You know, mark my words. You're going to see so many people start to die from this event. It's already happened. You know, and then it came a Rakata Iki. You know, I hope she can hang on. How many people are in Japan do you think the G20 are going to go see Rakata Iki? How many are going to walk over to the Hiroshima Memorial? How many do you think will walk over to the Hiroshima? You know, it's right there. That's where they're at. That's where they're at in Osaka. You know, I learned from a guy in Japan, you know, there's a lot of little places named Fukushima. Fukushima is a very broad term in Japan, which I think is irony. Is it 11/11? Yep, 11/11. Let's stop it here. That's the year I graduated. La Jolla Vikings. Mission Bay accomplished pirates. Oh, the chieftains. Huh. Fucking Sean Penn, fucking on Balco. A lot of people said that for years. That movie, Fast Times, was written after me. Oh, I lived like that, here and there. Fucking just wanted to catch some gnarly fucking waves. Catch a buzz, that's all. Look at the whales. Stay tuned.